Hello, I wanted to create this video to talk about the subject of hair loss and the supplementation of creatine monohydrate and what I think about it. I think it's a pretty interesting question because, creatine is not hormonal in any way, and when we think about exogenous substances causing hair loss, we usually think about anabolic androgenic steroids because, of course, those do cause hair loss since the underlying cause of hair loss is androgens. So if you're creating a super physiological state of androgens in your body by taking in exogenous hormones, then yeah, that's going to cause hair loss most likely. But why would people think that creatine would cause hair loss? Well, let's examine what creatine is. Creatine is an amino acid that our body produces naturally, and it's responsible for the rephosphorylation of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So what happens in our body, every physiological process depends on hydrolysis. So what that means is that you'll have the breakdown of ATP into two smaller compounds called adenosine diphosphate, ADP, and adenosine monophosphate, and that process releases energy. So to recycle the ADP and the AMP back into ATP, you need to have the rephosphorylation, and that requires creatine phosphase. So that is something that just helps us recycle ADP and AMP back together, basically. You can learn about that in any biochemistry class. So why do people think that would cause hair loss? Well, I think this stems from a study that I think was released several years ago about rugby players supplementing extremely large doses of creatine, I think like 20 grams a day or so, and it showed that their DHT levels went up a little bit. Well, I'm a little bit skeptical of this study. I mean, I don't doubt the results or so, but there was only like 20 or so players, and that's just not enough evidence. And there also haven't been any subsequent studies since then that have resulted in the same conclusions. So I wouldn't jump to any conclusions about this study for that reason, but also because people are forgetting that DHT does a lot more than just cause hair loss. I mean, having high androgen levels can cause a lot of problems. There's a lot of cancers that feed on excess androgen levels, like testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and also you can have an enlarged prostate, acne. I mean, DHT does a lot of serious shit. So why would elevated DHT levels just cause hair loss, but people who supplemented creatine wouldn't experience any of these other androgen-related side effects? And also, considering how dangerous it is for some individuals to have elevated DHT levels, I don't think creatine would be on the market as an ergogenic aid for as long as it has without some sort of regulation having occurred. I mean, there would have been studies to link this, that would have linked creatine supplementation to these various diseases and cancers, and it would have been taken off the market already. I mean, it would be a very dangerous substance if it actually did this. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Anecdotally speaking, I haven't experienced any side effects from supplementing creatine. I don't supplement with it right now because I don't really think it's that effective, and also I think just the texture is so disgusting that it makes me want to vomit every time I try to take it in. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you feel like it gives you a placebo effect or something. Now, I feel that the people who do use it, some of them swear by it. I mean, if you like it and you want to keep on using it, that's fine and everything, but don't worry about it causing hair loss. I don't think there's enough evidence out there, and I know a lot of people say they've used it and they started losing hair, but I think that's just, your own genetic male pattern baldness kicking in, and it just happened to kick in at a time when you were supplementing creatine. It wasn't the creatine that actually caused it, so yeah, don't worry about that. If you're going through male pattern baldness, just make sure you take the proper steps, get on finasteride, get on minoxidil, and the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. But don't think it's creatine that's going to make the big difference right there. It's probably pretty negligible. And even if it does cause a tiny little bit of increase in DHT, that can easily be negated by taking finasteride, dutasteride, or any of the various anti-androgens, topical or systemic anti-androgens you can take. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the subject. Take care.